Do you feel sad, like all the time? There's this persistent feeling of sadness that never leaves your side, and you don't understand the reason why you are sad? If this is something you are experiencing, you're at the right place. Hey there, welcome back to the channel, ROI Motivation. In today's video, we'll be addressing the most crucial topic, which is always the undertalked one, depression. In modern times, when awareness of our mind and personal well-being is at its peak, it's high time we start educating people more about the practical application of this theoretical concept. Please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, comment below, and press the bell icon so that you never miss out on any such important topics. Depression is often mistaken for so many other things except for depression. One never clearly understands what exactly depression is until he himself is a victim of it. Even those who are suffering from depression have no idea what they are suffering from. Theoretically, depression is a major mood disorder and a serious mental illness that causes a persistent feeling of sadness, a genuine loss of interest that negatively impacts every aspect of your life. This illness will hinder everything that you do, the way you feel, think, and behave, leading to a disbalance in a variety of emotions. Though depression is a mental disorder, it can lead to serious physical problems as well. Let's clear out the most popular myth relating to depression. It's indeed a mental disorder, and only your mind can cure it. However, it's nothing like a bout of the blues, and one cannot simply snap out of it. It's not possible, but depression has a very strong root. There isn't any timeline for its origin, or it will go once you complete a certain dose of medication. Depression, in most cases, requires a long-term treatment. This disorder can come solo, triggered by some past events, or may occur with other mental disorders and other illnesses, such as diabetes, cancer, heart disease, or chronic pain. The problem is, if you're suffering from depression, your mind is at its most vulnerable state, where any negative thought kicks you harder. If you are a fit person, you will start having physical issues. When a person suffers from depression, it's hard for them to even get out of bed, walk to the kitchen, or even eat. One can literally starve themselves to death because they just don't feel like eating when they don't have a good support or hope for living. That brings to understanding causes of depression. There are certain things in life that happen to you, even when you don't invite them. These are the things where you do not have control over the situation. Depression is an uninvited guest that happens out of both circumstantial and biological causes. Have you ever wondered what causes depression? It's not like the one suffering from it has gone through a certain hardship. Everybody has a hurtful story to tell. Then why isn't everybody suffering from depression? It's complicated to understand what exactly can lead to depression. It is a serious and complex disease that can happen for a variety of reasons. Some are diagnosed with depression during a serious medical illness, and some may have depression with life changes, such as death, abandonment, disappointment, and a lot more. Some might have a family history of depression. On the other hand, some may have depression and feel persistent sadness and loneliness for no reason. We have tried to list down a few causes of depression. Medical illness. Depression is easily triggered by another serious medical illness. It's a state of mind that your mind counters in response to the illness. Age. Elderly people are more prone to depression, mostly because of living alone and lack of social support. Seasonal hormonal changes. This type mostly occurs in women because of estrogen and progesterone during the menstruation cycle, postpartum, or menopause. Family history. A person will have a higher risk of depression if his family has a history of depression or another mood disorder. Social discomfort. Being alone or isolated socially becomes a major factor to trigger depression. Trauma. A person who has experienced trauma in childhood or via an accident will have an underlying depression. Such emotion gets triggered in certain fearful or stressful situations. Death. The plethora of emotions one experiences during the loss of a loved one is a very common cause of depression. Use of substances. Substance misuse has a higher risk to develop depression. Studies have proven that nearly 30% of people with substance misuse problems have clinical depression. Pain. An elongated timeline of chronic physical pain significantly adds to developing a higher risk of depression. Going by the book, these are the theoretical possibilities of what causes depression most of the time. However, The beauty and, of course, the shortcoming of a mental illness is that it can branch out to something any human mind can ever evaluate. For a person who has experienced any of the above-mentioned causes and is suffering from the symptoms of depression, you must consult a doctor. Even if your symptoms don't match in the exact way listed in this video, it's fine. Your mind can have variations. Just visit the doctor if you feel something is just not right. You don't feel good. Let's now discuss some of the major symptoms of depression. It's complicated to confine its mysterious illness to a certain symptom set. Studies say depression time, what people experience at different phases, are multiple episodes. These are when you actually experience symptoms. These are a feeling of sadness or emptiness or hopelessness without any reason. During these episodes, one might start having anger management issues, irritability, or frustration over trivial matters. Loss of interest is one major symptom that's common in depression. Even with sleepless nights and disturbed sleep schedules, people often are diagnosed with insomnia. Even though you might have slept, do you feel tired all the time, as if you have absolutely no energy left in you? That's another symptom. Your diet mostly gets reduced, you don't feel like eating, or it can also happen the other way. Your appetite increases drastically. Depression can seriously put inside you the thought that you are not worth it. You will start getting more anxious, agitated, or restless. It is difficult to concentrate because your mind is simply floating somewhere, and you are liking the float. You have problems making decisions or even remembering things. Adding to it, physical problems take a good toll on the body. Symptoms are quite different in teens, children, and adults. Most of the time, people can't recognize it because the three timelines have a different set of characteristics, which also makes such a habit a bit normal in our daily lives. For instance, children experience heightened clinginess, aches, and pains. They don't feel like going to school and are underweight. In teens, the symptoms include extreme sadness, unexplained anger, and poor performance at school. Teens mostly feel like they are being misunderstood, and they become even more sensitive. They might either sleep too much or less, indulge in substance abuse, or even riskier self-harm. Depression in adults is mature, starting from a change in personality and physical pain to suicidal thinking. Sleeping again is a problem. You tend to become socially awkward. Everything is fine until the risk factor kicks in. This is where you need to seriously look out for yourself. Generally, the age of 20 or 30s is the time when depression actively takes part in our lives. This disorder is a lot more common in women than in men. Everything depends on how a person is, personally, because at every triggering event, that personality is what makes most of the decisions, and it's not always practical. It's important to self-understand the triggering episodes and be completely prepared for them. Situations where you feel low self-esteem, too dependent, stress with traumatic events, social acceptance, alcohol abuse, and medical conditions are triggering episodes of depression. All these are needed to be taken seriously before. Depression can literally ruin your life if you don't get up and do something about it. You gain either excess weight or become a skeleton. Imagine having to suffer from tremendous pain. What if, because of your depression, your family starts to face problems? And what do you plan on doing with the thoughts of suicide? Premature death is a complete waste of God's very gift of life. So, what are the treatments? Easy. Train your mind. Your command can solve anything. And for that kind of strength, look out for help. A therapist. Anybody can become a therapist if you want them to. Your family or your friends, they are ready to help you out in a time of crisis. This is the time before it gets any worse. Look out for professionals who've been studying this for years. It's always advisable to get long-term maintenance treatment to help prevent a relapse of symptoms. Depending on your symptom, you will be prescribed medication. Apart from this, psychotherapy is a must. Do you know you speak better with strangers? Because they don't know anything about you, and they will be impartial about everything you say. Here's an interesting fact. There is something known as light therapy, where doses of white light are thrown at you to regulate your mood. Want to try? And lastly, there are natural therapies, which of course need a 100% commitment from your side to be determined and punctual. Exercise, avoid substances, set your limits, and take care of yourself because you love yourself. And that's all for today's video. It's amazing that you have stayed with us for this long. And if this video somewhere touched you, make sure to follow all the treatments and start loving yourself. And hit the like, subscribe, notification button, and leave a comment on your precious thoughts. We are eager to hear you out.